Okay, I know some of you have been waiting for this video. It's been almost 5 months since we upgraded from the Tesla Model 3 to this Berlin Tesla Model Y rear-wheel drive. And look, I deliberately held off putting out a well-rounded and definitive Tesla Model Y review video because I wanted to wait months of just day-to-day living to test the limits of our usability just in different conditions, including how it fares in the colder weather as well as the summer. And yes, I know I've done videos in the past explaining how I've enjoyed most of the vehicle and where it's improved and why it's suited to families, etc. But this is different because now summer has passed, which I'm pretty sure it was never here in the first place, but there we go. We now have the hard data on whether the colder weather is that then hitting my max range. I can now cover the important question of if I've lost any range from battery degradation yet. After all, they say the worst battery degradation happens in the first year of ownership, as it can be as high as 5% in the worst cases, and then it should be 1% thereafter. To be super upfront and honest with you, I wasn't quite expecting this end result. I didn't even think it was possible. In addition to questions like, what have I enjoyed most about upgrading to this Tesla Model Y over my Tesla Model 3? What's been underrated? What do I think needs to be improved ahead of the so-called refreshed Tesla Model Y whenever that does arrive? And finally, would I recommend this Tesla EV to any other drivers, whether it be new to EVs in general or even to Tesla owners today? So that's what we're going to go into today. So if this video sounds like an interesting insight, buckle up, hit that like button, subscribe if you haven't already. Finally, do hit that notification bell. Right, let's get deep into the reasons why. First up, let's talk about battery degradation and talk about today's range in the cold, as I don't always like to keep people hanging on to the very last moments of the video for some of the best bits. So my 2024 Tesla Model Y here has the Cattle LFP battery, not the supercharging monster in the BYD Blade battery that also comes from Tesla's Giga Berlin factory. What was so significant about having an LFP powered Model Y is that this battery chemistry isn't necessarily the most energy dense battery pack on the market, but what it lacks in top tier energy capacity, it makes up for in resilience. And what I mean by that is this is a battery pack that likes to be charged to 100% frequently, and so it should be charged to 100% at least once a week. When I first got the vehicle, whilst rated to 183 miles WLTP, the onboard computer is more aligned to American EPA standards, which is aligned to more achievable terms, and so as you can see, it has 244 miles at 100% charge. If this was a long range or performance Model Y, day to day you should be charging to 80 or 90% unless you truly do need that 100%. And so this isn't an Achilles heel for this rear-wheel drive Tesla Model Y and LFP powered EVs. So in layman's terms, this is no Ferrari, but it's an absolute workhorse. No pun intended. So after around 5 months, how much range do you think the computer thinks I have now? Particularly as the first year is usually the worst. Get a new 100% mile figure in your head and let me know if that matched 244 miles in the comments below. Yes, this Tesla Model Y is the Elon Musk of battery degradation. Wakes up, capable of working 16 hours a day, charges, and just keeps cooking, regardless. Not a single mile lost, even as it gets a lot colder on the computer. What a work machine this is, and it looks great for longevity. Moving on to what I've enjoyed most about my upgrade from the Tesla Model 3 to the Model Y. What I have really enjoyed most about this vehicle, and what is the most underrated feature about this Tesla Model Y. So firstly, there was a few points why we actually moved to the Model Y, and if you're interested, I'll pop a video on the screen as to why that was. But in a nutshell, as the family on the cargo is getting bigger, for practicality reasons, it simply just made sense. I mean, more cabin space for the front and the rear passengers and the hatchback boot. It really did just make sense. From a practicality perspective, I think it's well documented that this vehicle does achieve them goals. But what have I really enjoyed most about this new Tesla Model Y? Well, these seats, they're way more comfier. It's a notch firmer than our Model 3, and it's all thanks to Giga Berlin's revised design. And in particular, the biggest difference is that the seat doesn't really sort of swallow you up so much as you're sat in it, if that makes sense. I probably could have described it a little bit better, but that's generally just how I feel about it. It just seems to offer that extra layer of support. The upgrade to the latest AMD MCU means I'm not missing out on any software upgrades that was too performance intensive than the Intel Atom MCU on my Tesla Model 3. And combined with the Hardware 4 and AI 4 cameras, I mean, I even got multiplayer games that I play on my PS5 today working inside my 2024 Tesla Model Y, and I'll pop a video on the screen if you're just curious about that. But the car itself really does feel like it's future-proofed somewhat, particularly with FSD capabilities. Even without FSD enabled, the camera clarity is noticeably sharper when reversing, and talking about parking, I haven't missed parking sensors on my Tesla Model 3. If you tried it, it shouldn't be controversial now. I found my outing with Tesla's parking assist with just the cameras. It's been incredibly accurate. The parking bay visuals are a cool little addition to over the sensors, but if I was to say one upgrade that has really been underrated and one that really did actually just kind of catch me out, that has to be sound insulation. And it was noticeable whilst driving on the motorway to city driving from my 2021 Tesla Model 3. And what was really interesting was I watched a video from Bjorn recently, and he said the same thing. I myself did a small sound meter test against my Model 3, and my suspicions were indeed confirmed. Might not be quite Highland spec, but it sure isn't far off being as quiet on the roads. So that was what I've enjoyed most about my Tesla Model Y. But what needs to be improved? Well, there are some areas Tesla have and will continue to chip away at. I clearly praised the sound levels just a second ago. Sound levels are always a moving target. They're really good at present, but can it be better? I'm pretty sure I know Tesla have and will continue to make it better. They won't sit still than today's offering. Next up, I see this in my comments all the time. You can probably guess what it is. It's the Tesla Model Y suspension. Categorically speaking, it ain't bad. I've never had any issues cruising over a speed bump or anything like that. For me, it's just the sensitivity of picking up imperfections in the road that just needs to be focused and tweaked on. But honestly speaking, this is just my humble opinion, and you're welcome to hold a different view to me on this. The suspension could be better, but it ain't bad. If you jump into it thinking that you're going to get Porsche Macan levels, then your expectations are just well off to begin with. It's much more aligned to competitors similarly priced, but there definitely is margin for improvement. Other than that, I'd love to see the addition of an additional rear passenger screen at the rear of the center console down here, like the refreshed Tesla Model 3. Other than that, I'd love to see what other refinements Tesla have in store with their next wave of Model Y. Before we round up my conclusion on if I would recommend buying a Tesla Model Y today, how much is the Tesla Model Y going to set you back, and how much does it typically cost to charge? Charging from home does get you the best rates, and so I'm getting under 2p a mile here in the UK. Therefore, in a rear-wheel drive Tesla Model Y, a full battery can cost you as little as £4.20, and that will see you cover 240 miles and potentially even more if you're doing city driving. And I'll pop a video on the screen on how exactly I did achieve that if you're a UK viewer. But if you're currently just flirting with the idea of possibly buying a Tesla, is now a good time to buy? Well, I say this frequently, and if you delay, there are uncertainties ahead with the pricing and features, and so there is no best time to buy in general, as Tesla do make constant improvements to their cars week by week or month by month. There will always be differences or improvements to the car every other month. And at this very moment, low finance of up to 0% APR is temporarily available for quite a few countries now. However, some of the leasing deals can actually tally up to be better, but ultimately just do your sums, work out what's best for you. But at this very moment in time, there are really some cracking deals that are time limited and are subject to change at any time. And for reference, low finance rates aren't a guarantee moving forwards. So to conclude, in a nutshell, the 2025 Tesla Model Y is one hell of a car. The car has been utterly refined from its 2020 variant through many different build improvements. And this means that the latest version that you can buy today is a sweet, sweet deal. Packs a mighty practicality punch for its price tag. The battery is holding up well clearly, and the degradation is literally a nothing burger even during year one, which is a little bit of a surprise to say the least. For clarity, there are rumours of a refreshed Tesla Model Y lurking, but frankly, there is really nothing materially wrong with this current variant that would then make you regret its purchase. It's holding up a good fight, and the latest models you can buy today even come with more range than before too, for which does help pack even more of an extra punch for your price tag. I've got to stop talking about punching. So there we have it. What do you think to the Tesla Model Y today? Would you buy one? What does Tesla need to improve on, if anything, to the Tesla Model Y? Let me know in the comment section below. If you haven't already, don't forget to subscribe, do like the video, take a look at some of the links in the video description, as there are some handsome discounts, should we say, on certain Tesla products. You folks have been great, and I'll see you in the next one. Ciao.